Good afternoon, BellBoyBrand Investments. How are we doing today? I had a fantastic day. I ate some ribs, had some lamb chops, which was a first for me, as well as some chicken with caramelized apples on top of it. Never really got to try out something like that before, so that was definitely interesting. Definitely opened up my palate a little bit, but that was a pretty cool day. I was over at Hayden and Kristen's again on Sunday. So it was a nice way to start the day. I also just devoured an entire pizza, so that's awesome too. So agenda for the day, we got financial tips, news, highs and lows of the week, pick of the week, and then recap of last week's picks as well. So it's June 7th, 2020. First thing we're going to go to with the tips, it's just really important to make goals. Something we did as a company last week, we just sat down and we really laid it out in 5 different ways. So it was health goals, finance goals, family goals, professional goals, and then a community goal. And it's really important for your goals not just to be like this huge, outrageous thing. You need to actually set SMART goals. So SMART goals are something that's attainable within a time. They're measurable, so you're something that you're going to be able to look back on and see how you actually did on it. And it's actually, you got to have like small goals in order to work yourself up to that big goal. You're never really just going to accomplish some great thing. It's always steps that build a staircase. So it's important to have small goals on the way to that big goal in order for you to be able to hold yourself accountable. And that way you're going to be really crushing the most things you possibly can. So the tip is just make a smart, time-sensitive goal with smaller goals that are achievable so that you can check them off on your way there. So that's my tip for the week. News, number 1, I want to go with Vecto IQ. They actually just joined in a merger. Shout out to Tyler. They just turned to Nikola. And so I did a little bit of research on the company. Not going to dive too much into it. But they're definitely going to be a competing brand with Tesla. And what they really want to focus on, based on the links that I read, is really the trucking industry. So they're talking about the moving, the long haul. They want to be able to use a different type of energy source to be able to do that. And obviously they want to battle with electricity. What does this really mean for oil companies going further? So now I think Tesla is already taking a lot off of a lot of the oil companies, as well as all of these normal oil companies and car companies are building electric cars. So I think really as an entire world population, we're moving to a more energy efficient type of like trend. So after this coronavirus hits, after things recoup, I'm not sure if oil will entirely recoup. Because I think a lot of the bills and things that were passed were like energy efficient type of things. So I'm not sure if oil companies are going to completely come back. Another thing I want to go over, business owners with the PPP loan. That was just expanded. Donald Trump passed that. It went through the Senate, went through the House, and then it got passed on Sunday. So what that does is it expands the PPP for small business owners, allows that PPP loan to be usable and still forgivable until the end of December, or I think 24 weeks. Another thing it shifts is it allows them to be able to use 60% of it for payroll and 40% for utilities and stuff like that. So that's really going to be able to free up some cash for a lot of small business owners across America. Third thing in news I want to go over is I read an article that said Apple really recovered from their coronavirus take. So with them recovering, a lot of tech companies have recovered full scale, and a lot of them are 50 to 75% recovered as well. With that being said, we will go into our highs and lows. I know I had a phenomenal week, as well as just the stock market across the board. So we have some that are over 100% gainers. So number 1 on the list that I have is Hertz. We are up 185%. Now, that's a car rental company. Airlines absolutely crushed it. Delta's up 35%. American Airlines up 77%. KB Homes, we're up 11%. Core Labs, that's something that's involved with oil. That's up 34%. Royal Dutch, as well as MCP, they're both up 18% this week. Vivint Solar, we're up 19%. Cintas up 15%, Paychex up 10%. So really across the board, I think most people had a lot of winners this week. And that's just because the general trend of the economy is starting to pick back up. So it's great that everyone's really starting to crush it. I only had 3 that were down this week. Sherman-Williams only down 1%. Walmart down 2%. And then what we were talking about earlier, that Nikola, they're down 4% this week, but that's not really crazy for the long scheme of things because they've been up a ton in the last couple of weeks with that merger. Another thing I want to touch on, LK. They're up 160% this week. Now, that's exciting a little bit just to see some movement and to see some pushback with them potentially being delisted. But they are up 160%. So that's exciting. But from them being down from 50, it's still something to worry about. Now, my picks of the week, I'm going to go with Unify. They're at $25 right now. They were at $25 before Corona. Sorry, they're at $15 now. So they're in synthetic recycling products like polyester, nylon. So that's something that obviously they're making a whole bunch of products that are being used right now, gloves and stuff like that. But they were at 25 before, so they're at 15 now. That's still a pretty big 66% plus side that they're probably going to see when coming back. Another thing I'm going to go into is just Carnival for like cruises. They were at 46 and they dropped, totally shit the bed pretty much just like airlines. And they were at 46 before Corona. They're at about 18 right now. Another one I was looking into is Norwegian Cruise Lines. Just because people are really sick of being stir crazy. They're going to have savings more. April was they told me at Paychecks that April, more people have saved money in April 2020 than they had ever before in a month previously to 1981. So that was just like something that like smacked me in the face. Like, wow, Americans saved more money during all this crisis in 1 month than they ever had in a month before, dating back almost 40 years. So that's a crazy thing that we got told. Recap of last week, my picks of the week last week. Best Buy, we were at 6% up, 11% on the month. And then Lowe's, they really didn't go crazy this week, up almost 1%, and then they're up 19% on the month. I did a little research for you guys just to go on some tickers that have some super high dividends. I know we were talking about dividends before. If you don't really know what they are, check back on a couple videos ago. But it's pretty much when they just give you money for being able to hold the stock. So a couple tickers if you're just super interested in earning some dividends. PRU, T, UNM, UVV, UBA, BTI, MO, EPO, and MMP. All of those have dividends over 6%. So I have a big week this week, 20 appointments set up. So I'm definitely excited to go out there, help business owners, really try to pitch the American dream. Anyone else have any questions about anything going on? I would love to see someone else's submit for a pick of the week. Have a nice day, guys.